Despite being the absolute big boy bastions of wrestling knowledge on the entire bloody internet, we here at WhatCulture.com have decided to listen to you marks when it comes to constructing the list of the 100 greatest wrestlers of all time, which will appear in Wrestling Issue 3. Basically, this. All of it. I don't give a toss what a bunch of spotty, socially awkward freaks who sit in their bedrooms all day long think about goats. And come to think of it, I don't even care what the other people at work here at WhatCulture.com think about goats either. I love goats. F*** your Hogans, your Austins, your Michaels, your Sammartinos, your Savages, your Amines, your Flairs, your Cenas, your Angles, even your Undertakers. We all know who the goats really are, and if you suggest anyone outside a group of 20 or so, you're just plain stupid. So because I'm a sick guy and the king of the pissing world, which means nobody can stop me, I'm going to list my 10 favourite wrestlers of all time who, for the purpose of this video, will be known as King Ross's 10 greatest wrestlers of all time. Disagree? Go f*** yourself. Number 10, GRADO. GRADO is a fine-looking stallion of a man. I know this because people say I look like him. How on earth could I leave such a sexy mother out of a list of my 10 goats? I couldn't, could I? While many a wrestler have incorporated dancing into their gimmick down the years, few have done it with such grace and finesse as the man from the tap end of Stevenson. If you've ever wondered what I do on a Saturday night, imagine GRADO swanning his way down the ramp and then place him in Pop World in the big market in Newcastle. That's me, and the several toothless middle-aged honeys around me absolutely love it. At the end of the day, GRADO is a wrestling fanatic that is clearly living out his dream. He's gone from a boy who used to pretend to be a reporter to talk to wrestlers on the phone at the bottom of his street, to making it in the UK and across the pond. The boyhood dream has come true for GRADO. Also, Like a Prayer is a bloody tune with a capital CH. Number 9, JBL. His commentary keeps me in a job and has made me bed ducats and t-shirt sales. Keep up the shitness, son. Number 8, Goldberg. I'm a WCW child. Despite being the king of the f***ing world today, I grew up in rather humble surroundings and didn't have Sky Television until I was 12. My only exposure to wrestling up till that point came during a time at a pal's house, watching WCW Worldwide, which would air at 7 PM every Friday on Channel 5, or via tapes. And one of the first tapes I ever owned was a WCW NWO Superstar Series Volume 1 that looked into the careers of both Goldberg and Sting. A massive soz for spoiling one of the upcoming entries. Put yourself into the shoes of this 7-year-old sick guy and imagine how f***ing gnarly it was to see a man squash everyone in sight. This was a massive destroy of a man that could do backflips and throw any man, no matter their size, into RUSEV. What wasn't there to love? Number 7, Sting. We're going back to that VHS once again. My love for both Goldberg and Sting comes from that Superstar Series tape. Both men have held a special place in my heart for bare time because they're the first two wrestlers I grew to know at closest quarters. Let's go back to the year-long build to the match at Starrcade 97 to see the Sting that I really got behind. Being too young to understand that this new version of the Sting was a complete rip-off of the Crow film, I absolutely loved the look and mystique of the character. He was the only man that didn't say a word in a sea of shouty, steroidy men. He was different, and those eyes. Oh, those eyes, I could not help but get lost in those eyes. Yes, I know Sting was woefully out of shape by the time the actual match came around, and the players involved made an absolute cluster of the finish, but sometimes it's all about the journey and not about the destination. How romantic am I? Number 6, Kane. 1997 to 2001 Kane, of course. Heck, even 2004 Psycho Kane, who battled the likes of Shane McMahon, deserves an honourable mention here. The rest of Kane's career can f*** off. I'm a fearless motherfucker, but Kane scared the shit out of me when I was a child. That deserves the ultimate amount of respect and a place on this list. I was scared of the mask, scared of the organ, and absolutely scared of the fact he could shoot lightning and set fire to things with his bare hands. Kane's backstory is arguably the best in the history of professional wrestling. I'm not going to run you through it all because that's what Wikipedia's for, but that debut is the GOAT, isn't it? Not only that, but his initial run in the company was absolutely sublime. The Willy Wonky rivalry with The Undertaker that led to so many and disappointing matches was sensational. Once again, it's all about the journey and not the destination sometimes. Anyway, Kane was big, scary and seemingly had the powers of God himself. He should have achieved a lot more than he did, even though he has achieved a ton over his near 19-year run as the Big Red Machine. Number 5, Stone Cold Steve Austin. We all love Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin should be in each of our 10 GOATs. Stone Cold Steve Austin should be on each and every Mount Rushmore of wrestling that has ever made. We all live vicariously through Stone Cold Steve Austin as he did something we all wish we could do. Tell our bosses to go f*** themselves and hurt them while doing so. However, while Austin's ascension and run as a main event babyface with an edge is what most will remember him for, I'm so sick that I'm going to cite his heel run of 2001 as the reason behind his placing on this list. Stone Cold Steve Austin healed like no heel has ever healed before. I love Crazy Steve and all of his craziness. I loved the match that turned him heel at WrestleMania 17. I loved how he wasn't afraid to get in fans' faces and flip them off. I loved the facials. I loved it all. Even though his chicken ness ruined the previous 3 years of work by making him look like a bit of a pussy. Triple H's quad injury and the end of the two-man power trip spawned the greatest version of Stone Cold, in my humble opinion. Austin began a paranoid streak as a heel as he tried to impress Vince McMahon, like some desperate younger sibling who was trying to impress Daddy in the knowledge that they were conceived as a mistake on Valentine's Day, and they bloody well knew they were as well. Steve and Kurt Angle, hilarious. The tiny cowboy hat, the singing, it was all great. Right up until the Invasion pay-per-view that saw Steve turn mega heel and join the WCW ECW team for some reason that had absolutely nothing to do with the Alliance having no real star power to call on. Even though everyone looks back on Stone Cold's heel run as something that didn't work due to fans' unwillingness to boo their former hero, I think it was brilliant. For me, Steve's use of comedy in the heel role inspired many of today's roster. Look at the likes of Chris Jericho, Sheamus and Rusev and tell me they aren't borrowing a thing or two from Steve's playbook. They f***ing are, and if someone tells you they're not, they are lying. Number 4, Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar in 2016 is boring. His matches are all the same. Basically, Paul Heyman is about the only thing that satisfies this sick guy about Brock Lesnar these days. So let's go back to 2002 and the next big thing we all fell in love with. I'm a huge sports fan, which means I crave some kind of legitimacy in all of my GOATs in wrestling. Just like GRADO, Brock Lesnar has a legitimate sports background that makes you quiver in fear before he's even made his way down the ramp. Don't get me wrong, I still like the fact that Brock Lesnar murders people for our entertainment these days. I just don't like the way he murders people the same way every bloody time he steps between the ropes. I remember a Brock that took on all comers no matter what the payday was and beat them in different ways. He could batter you with brawn, or he could batter you with athletic prowess or technical superiority that you simply couldn't live with. Undertaker at No Mercy, Rock at SummerSlam, Eddie at No Way Out. There's too many classics to mention. Come on, Brock, do a blazing squat and flip reverse it. Let's see the old you come back, you lazy bastard. Dean Ambrose was right. Number 3, Rusev. Back on October the 28th, 2015, I wrote an article titled 12 Reasons Why Rusev Wins at Life. So to tell you why I think Rusev is one of the GOATs, I'm simply going to reel off those entries and move on with my life. He's a pop sensation after appearing in the music video for the whole f***ing show by Cushionator, the entrance music of Rob Van Dam during his run in TNA. His story is remarkable. Leaves Bulgaria in his early 20s, trained by the likes of Rikishi and Gangrel before making his debut in 2008. Roughly a year and a half later, he signs a developmental deal with WWE. Foreign country, different language, completely alone, but still makes it to WWE in double quick time. Close to the time when I wrote this article, Rusev would have gone to work, kissed Summer Rae, then gone home and kissed Lana. Has there ever been a luckier guy in wrestling? He wasn't pinned nor submitted in WWE for 357 days after debuting. Nobody does that these days. Even Bo Dallas could only reach 17 and Bo. Rusev is a modern day GOAT. He defeated Vince McMahon. Get this right, some dirt sheets believe that Vince McMahon ended the initial Lana and Rusev partnership on television and paired the ravishing Russian with the utter hunk and Dolph Ziggler in an attempt to break up the real life relationship between Rusev and Lana. Simply because Vince McMahon did not believe that somebody that looks like Rusev should be going out with someone that looks like Lana. Nevertheless, as we all know now, TMZ broke the news that Lana and Rusev were engaged in real life, which put an end to that unbearable torment caused by the love quadrilateral between Ruru, Summer, Lana and Dolph. Rusev defeated Vince McMahon. Nobody ever defeats Vince McMahon. Good on you, Ruru. He owns every video game. While appearing on Up Up Down Down, Ruru said, and I quote, "Whatever comes out, I always buy. I have pretty much all the games. I have one question to ask here, and that is, where the bloody hell does he keep them all? He legitimately never gives up. Move over, John Cena. Rusev tore his ACL immediately after debuting in FCW and then broke his neck soon after he returned, the latter of which left one of his arms briefly paralysed. Yet he still was able to rise above the horrible hand Mother Nature dealt to him, hustled his way out to the main roster, and proved his loyalty to the sport, and brought some respect back to the United States Championship later on. Something like that. He's a martial arts master. While recovering from those FCW injuries, he went to Thailand and began practicing Muay Thai. It's fair to say, judging by his in-ring work to date at least, he mastered that discipline with some aplomb. He rode a freaking tank into WrestleMania. His house is bloody massive. Get this right, this is a direct quote from TMZ. It's a pretty sweet deal. 11.56 acres with a pond, hot tub, basketball court, and more in Music City. All for $644,000. Sounds nice, doesn't it? His car. At the time of writing that article, Rusev owned a Maserati Gran Turismo, which was priced at around $137,000. When asked about his pride and joy, Rusev said, "I like cars. This is what I care about. I feel like everyone needs a car to go from point A to point B. It's just mine goes faster and louder." Lana. Number 2, Martin Kirby. Zoidberg elbow, sable bomb, parmesan, fairy love cups, Kirby Oki, dickhead, the best pissing theme music in the world today, Richard O'Brien, Hitman, bands and bands for days, and Martin Kirby is the man that beat the best of the Super Juniors, Mr. William Ospreay. Amazing. Let's not forget the fact that I go around to Kirby's house most Sundays. We draw the curtains, we stick some candles on, and we sing "I Got You Babe" to each other. Don't believe me? I said it on WCPW commentary early on. I'm the driver of the Kirby train and have been since day one. I love the man, and he loves me. Martin Kirby is the greatest in the world at the moment, even if he does only make it into my list at number 2. And finally, number 1, Mr. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is me. I am Kevin Owens. We have the same coloured hair, the belly, the same personality. We're just about the same pissing person, even if he's a damn talented son of a gun with a beautiful wife and lovely kids, and I make videos on YouTube dressed in a plastic cape and crown. Anyway, if Kevin Owens and I met, we'd be the best of friends. I've never resonated with a professional wrestler like I have with KO. It's scary. He's my guy. It also helps that he's a unique entity in WWE today. Not only is he great in the ring, doing things a man of his size shouldn't be able to do, but he has charisma and personality for days. In a sea of mighty fine wrestlers whose characters are bloody boring, KO stands out like few other. He is the best. Disagree with any of my entries? Go f*** yourself. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. I've been King Ross, and I will see you soon.